Well, good morning, everyone. This brief video is on how to use PureIO to make a work order. So I'll just jump right in. If you have access to the PureIO asset management program, then you simply have a login ID and you just go to the website, submit your information and go. In this respect, I'm going to use the demo site. So you may not recognize the equipment I'm talking about, but no matter if you're doing a vehicle or you're doing a pump, a motor, something else, the process is all the same. So this is the demo site. Well, when I first log in, I come to the home screen, the main menu. And we have a series of buttons up there: inspections, exceptions, operations, other things like that. In respect to creating a work order request, this is the process that you use. It is under the operations tab. So when you click on operations, you'll come up to a series of selections of new data entries and then old logs that you can see. You may not have some of these other pieces down here, but in respect to creating a new work order request, you'll go to operations and then come down here and select new work order request. And that's what you're looking to do. So when we do that, what it does is brings up all the previous work orders, all of them, just whatever you're looking for. Okay. But you have a particular asset that you want to talk about. And I'm going to say in this respect, I want to talk about a pump. All right. So I could say a vehicle, but in this respect, I'm going to, because it's a demo database, we have a lot of pumps and motors and valves and things like that in there. So I am going to talk about a pump. Now, the first thing that I have to do is be on the particular asset that I'm looking to write a work order on or a work order request on. And in that, what you'll see is a little tiny button over here. It's a little green button. What that does is expands and collapses the directory tree, because assets fall in different categories and different directories. You may have different departments that where, let's just say a vehicle may reside in a certain department. You have to go to that department and pick out that vehicle, and that's what we're about to do. So if I click on that button, what you see is my screen collapsed a little bit, and then I could see the directory tree over here. Now, in this, I want to go to, let's just say, it's in the unit 4, or it could be department 4, and I'll do it that way. And it's in department 4, and in this particular one, it's going to be under feed waters, okay? And I want to do it on a pump, and that's what I'm going to do. Now, I'm where I want to be, okay? I notice it's highlighted in yellow, and I'm where I want to be. For me particular, I'm going to go ahead and hide my directory tree again. Remember, it's the green button there, and then red collapses it back, okay? Now that I'm in the right location where I know that piece of equipment is, or asset is, I'm now going to pick on the asset or the vehicle or the pump or the motor or whatever that I want to talk about. In this respect, I want to talk about boiler feed pump 4A. It could be vehicle 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't matter. But I'm selecting the piece of equipment. Now notice that it already predated for me, put who I am, told me what system I'm in, exactly where I knew I would be. And then notice I picked on 4A boiler feed water pump. Okay. And that's what I've selected. Now, when I did that, I can do a multiple of things. Notice I'm saying show all my work orders, and I have a lot of work orders in here. There's been a lot of work orders. All right, but I'm going to say just show me the work orders and filter by the very piece of equipment that I'm talking about. And if I do that, notice that only the boiler feed pump work orders show up, okay? So that's the only ones. But in this, I can look and see, do I have a work order already with that problem on it? And I'm going to say right now, no, because I'm going to add a new one. All right. I do notice that there's one already pending here. but we're going to put in a different one. We're asking for a new work order request. All right. So we've picked our pump. All right. Now, what work order type is it? What's the work order type? And I'm going to say it's a corrective type. It's corrective maintenance. That's what we're going to. You could say, well, it's a PM that we're pulling forward. It's an emergency. And so you can self-define these and have them change to what you believe your different type work order types are. In this respect, I'm going to say this is a corrective maintenance work order. All right. And I'm also going to say that the priority in the grand scheme of things is they can work it under their normal process, meaning they can put it in the plan to figure out when the best time it is to take care of that. And that's what we'll do. All right. Now, in respect of how things fail, or is this asset failing more one way or the other, I'm just going to say I'm going to ask it to have something repaired on it. Okay. And that's what I'm going to do. So once I do that, I give it the problem description. In this problem, I'm going to say the sight glass. All right. See, I've got my cap locks on. I'll take those off. Uh, Seems to be cracked and leaking oil. That's not a good thing when you leak oil. Okay. So I put that, and I'm going to say, please change the sight glass. All right. And that's what we'll do. Once I do that, I can submit my request. Okay. And what you see down here, notice that if I wanted to right now, I could edit that. I could click on this button and say, oh, I need to do something else with it, because notice I see the edit pencil, but that's not it. I've now submitted my request, and it's up to someone else now, or if I had the approval, I could make it a work order, because it's only a request right now. But then it can be, all right, now I need to move it to the work order status. And here I'm in the work order request screen. So if I go back over and now I want to show me all of my work order requests at this moment in time. And if I click that, oh, I see that there are actually 3 work orders in there. And I can see who wrote them. And for this is me. I'm Wayne Morgan. And I see that it's pending approval. Now I'm that next step, or I'm that next person. I have that ability to approve that to a work order. So if I click on it, what it does is it brings up a work order request screen that says, and I have the classification to make it a work order. It says, here's the information, here's the system that it's under, here's the equipment that it is, and it could spell out the piece of equipment. Okay, here's the work order type, priority, and here's the failures. But I can see what the problem is. Sight glass seems to be cracked. This is me looking at, do I want to make this a work order or not? And please change the sight glass. Okay, so I kind of agree with that. We'll change it if that's what needs to be done. Um, and that's what we'll do. All right. And then I'm also, if I can assign it right now, I will. I'll go assign it. So I'm going to assign it to John Doe. I don't know John Doe, but I know John Doe is probably going to work on it. And I'll say approve. Generate. If I knew there was an old existing work order, or I already saw another one, I would take that work order request and move it. I could go review work orders before I made this one. But I could cancel that request. I could do other things. But in this respect, we're talking about generating a brand new work order. We're going to go ahead and make that a new work order. Now, it's populated the work order screen for me. You can see that it says it brought over the problem description of the sight glass needs repairing. And I copied that other piece from it. So now I need to add more. They had a request of what they wanted done, but I have the ability to make it that. And that's what I just said is, please change the sight glass. Okay. And I just made it that simple. and I made sure that my work description, here's my problem, so that that technician or whomever goes out there to work on it can understand what's the problem that they want and what's the work they want done on it. And then I can see that. I can say that it is assigned right now. I've assigned it to John Doe, and this is the repair that needs. That's the failure cause. I can see everything. I like it. Now, if you use the safety functions, you can actually tell the recipient of this work order who's going to go out there and work on it, pay attention to these special things, and know that they're there. And I'm just going to say confined space, safe work practices. Okay. And then use it that way. And once I do that and I move my screen recording, I'm going to save that work order. Okay. Save work order. All right. And then when I go back in here, I can see that that work order request is gone. Now, let's see if my work order came up. Assigned. Okay. Signed to Dave McCrae. Bean. Got it. And we see that I can go look at it. And here it is right here, the work order that I just created. Okay. And you can see that it was done today. Today's date is, but it put a due date a week later. And that's what the assumption is do I make it a week later? So if I go in there and look at it, I can see that, yes, it is. There's the work order I want, and that's all well and good. Now, basically, I'm done. My work order's done. I do have a work order. It's in the queue. It's waiting on somebody to take care of it and to fix it and repair it. Now, I'm able to look at work orders if I do an advanced search, okay? And I say work order status equals, and I'm just going to say, show me all the assigned work orders. You'll see that a whole list of assigned work orders. We've got a lot that we have open that need to be moved from assigned to something else. I think somebody brought a lot of work orders in, but again, we can go to that. Say someone now is working on the work order. They can move it to John Doe's working on the work order. He can move it to working, all right, and save that work order, all right, and there we go. And now we're right back where we are, and we can see what's working. And if I want to do another search and say, show me all work orders in the working position, okay, then I can click on working and see that, oh, those are the ones working. I could look for work waiting on parts. I could look on how many are closed, open, doesn't matter. But in this one, I can find my work order now. That's how you add a work order, and that's how you kind of sort of start working on a work order. We'll talk about the worker end of it in just a minute on the next video, but in this respect, that's how you add a work order to the program.